This is the ZNS Network, providing radio and high-definition television services for the entire Bahamas. ZNS Network is operated by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. It is located at Harcourt Rusty Bethel Drive, Centerville, Nassau. Our programming is designed to inform, educate, and entertain. We invite you to join us.
The following is a preamble of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Whereas 481 years ago, the rediscovery of this family of islands, rocks and keys, heralded the rebirth of the New World. And whereas the people of this family of islands, recognizing that the preservation of their freedom will be guaranteed by a national commitment to self-discipline, industry, loyalty, unity, and an abiding respect for Christian values and the rule of law. Now, know we therefore, we the inheritors of and successors to this family of islands, recognizing the supremacy of God and believing in the fundamental rights and freedoms of the individual, do hereby proclaim in solemn praise the establishment of a free and democratic sovereign nation, founded on spiritual values, and in which no man, woman, or child shall ever be slave or bondsman to anyone, or their labor exploited, or their lives frustrated by deprivation, and do hereby provide by these articles for the indivisible unity and creation under God of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Tuesday, January 25th, 2022, and the morning edition is live. On today's show, students resume face-to-face learning. COVID hospitalizations rising. Agro-technology looking to take off. And it's Thank You Mentor Day. So let's start the morning off right.
The morning edition is brought to you by We Buy, You Sell Company, your leading hurricane impact windows, doors, and tile specialist.
Good morning. I'm the pilot of this single Cessna 123. But we're in for a smooth flight this morning. Our Kelsey Johnson is having a bad hair day. Her hair couldn't blow, so she couldn't go. But normally in the morning, me and Kelsey banter, and I'll banter with myself. Fisher, you look very good this morning. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. What's in store for today? Well, we have a pretty good show in store for you out there. We're going to take it out to the streets of Desmond Sanders as usual with traffic. We also have Mentor Day. Also, school children back in the classroom, face-to-face. All that coming up in the morning edition. And yes, thank you, everybody, for joining us. But first, we take it out to the streets where our Desmond Sanders is standing by with our morning traffic. Good morning, Des.
Hey, Fisher, the pilot. Yeah, you're going to handle this plane quite correctly this morning. The best to you. I know it's warm where you're at in the studio, ZNS studio, but I'm here at the Independence Roundabout where things are heating up on the streets. A bit cool on the outside, but a great day to be alive. Corporal Patrick Tamp joining me on the broadcast this morning. Things are heating up on the streets. A number of persons are traversing, making their way to various destinations. Of course, one of the issues that's very, very important of late is the number of fatalities we've been seeing in the newscast of late.
Good morning, Desmond. Good morning, Bahamas. And you're absolutely correct. And this is why we are making a special effort to be on the streets more now than ever to assist and keeping our communities safe, especially when it concerns the motoring public. We have too many unnecessary accidents that could be avoided. Tragically, fatalities that also are involved in that because persons are not adhering to the rules, the regulations of the streets. And speed, again, is one of the main factors when it concerns more serious accidents. I want to encourage the motoring public to please drive with due care and attention and drive it in the speed limit. You will notice that the signs and markings are all throughout the island of New Providence and our islands in reference to the speed limit.
I don't know about you, Fisher, but I know there's a problem with texting. A number of people still texting in their cars while on the road.
Desmond, and again, I want to say that the person, you know, in fact, I stopped a driver just yesterday. It was on his phone, And I pulled him over and I made him aware of what the law says in reference to it. And he asked me, he says, that's still in effect. I don't know what information that he's been receiving of late. And he was cited for the offense. And I had to remind the Republic that that law is in effect. Any use of any electronic device, you will find yourself being before the courts for it. It's a potential for causing an accident.
Drive to arrive alive. Fisher, back to you in the studio.
We are waking up to 57 degrees, mostly clear, humidity 87%. Our weakening frontal boundary across the area will continue to generate sporadic showers over portions of the island chain today. Meanwhile, a weak high-pressure system will build across the Bahamas, allowing drier, cooler air mass to filter into the remainder of the country throughout tonight. For all areas, weather mostly sunny and mild with a few spotty showers occurring in the vicinity of the front today, becoming fair and chilly tonight. Your daytime high temperature 77, overnight low of 57.
The government is looking to recoup millions of dollars in real property tax liabilities as part of a revenue enhancement plan that's also tied to reducing government debt. Minister of Economic Affairs, Senator the Honorable Michael Elkidas.
Not all properties that should have been on the real property tax register have been on the register for a number of years. All new properties are supposed to be entered onto the register. That had not been happening consistently. Secondly is reassessment, current reassessment, meaning that properties on the register are at their current values. And so you've had situations where a property might have been on the register and not been reassessed for 10, 20 or more years.
Thousands of students across the country returned to school campuses on Monday for the long-awaited return to in-person learning. Minister of Education made the rounds. One of her stops was at the Ridgeland Primary School, where she got a look at operations while also taking the time to speak to several classes. The minister acknowledged how difficult the last 2 years have been on the education system and thanked teachers for their work.
We know that, it's also been extremely challenging for them. So on these school campuses, we have a nucleus of our citizens who are engaged in the practice or the act of building lives, transmitting knowledge, and they've been through a very tough time. And so I think we must throw our support behind the work that they do.
Eden Acres, slowly but surely becoming a reality of the Bahamas. It's a partnership between Eden Farms and 80 Acres, boasting the best agriculture technology from all around the globe, all under one roof. Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis and Agriculture Minister the Honorable Clay Sweeting assured the stakeholders that this initiative has their full support.
Many robots do the heavy lifting, and that there is no use of pesticides so that the nutritional value is increased. This is certainly beneficial in a world still grappling with COVID-19. And we certainly applaud your brilliant efforts and also support the industry that you're interested in.
And I want to thank them and thank you, 80 Acres, again for inviting me to witness firsthand the model of how you propose to grow and develop.
Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Deputy Prime Minister the Honorable Chester Cooper, touting the benefits of that memorandum of understanding signed last week by Minister of Foreign Affairs the Honorable Fred Mitchell and the United Arab Emirates government. Emirates will now promote the Bahamas as a tourism destination across its global network by offering travel packages including flights and hotels through Emirates Holiday, the Dubai-based tour company affiliate of Emirates Airline. As it stands, Emirates customers can travel to the Bahamas via connecting flights through Toronto, New York, and Boston. Minister Cooper says he's pleased to see increased promotion of the Bahamas in global markets as a destination continues to rebound. COVID-19 hospitalizations on the rise. The Ministry of Health's latest release pegging that number at 158, with 9 of those cases in the intensive care unit. Another death is under investigation, putting that figure at 41. As for new infections, there are 69, 50 on New Providence, 11 on Grand Bahama, 3 each on Abaco and Exuma, and 1 apiece on Eleuthera and Andros. There are 12 new recoveries, taking that overall count to 23,675.
Regarding the death of 21-year-old Heavenly Terrace on Miami Street this past Saturday, this just in, police confirming that the suspect died in hospital yesterday evening. Police initially reported that he entered a room in the home where the victim and an infant were located. He locked the door, and moments later, other occupants of the home heard gunshots. The man, woman, and infant were found on the floor. Evidence suggests the man shot the young woman before turning the firearm on himself.
We Buy You Sell offers the best in impact windows and doors. The first line of defense in protecting your home and family with premium designs and affordable pricing. We can make your dream home a reality. We also stock a wide variety of tiles such as porcelain, mosaic, and plank tiles. We offer the lowest rates in the country. Located at number 163 Robinson Road. Call 677-2856 or 324-6427. We Buy You Sell. Come and see us today.
Fixed and mobile services provided by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions helps our customers help their customers adapt to the new way of paying for things. Digital Wallets makes your transactions faster, more convenient, and secure. Whether it's using a debit card at the grocery store or making online payments for your monthly expenses, Digital Wallets powered by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions makes it better. For more information on our fixed and mobile services, contact the experts at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
While it's encouraging that the national COVID-19 vaccine rollout is going successfully, it's not the only precaution to reduce the spread of the virus in our communities. It's important to continue practicing safety protocols because it is our social responsibility to protect ourselves and to protect others.
Wash your hands for a friend with a weaker immune system.
Only read and share information from trusted sources to avoid unnecessary panic.
I'm gonna need y'all to avoid these large crowds. We could have loved ones at home who have underlying health conditions. Do it.
Practicing safety protocols is an act of brotherly and sisterly love.
The life you save may just be yours as well as your neighbor.
Together we will win.
We will win.
Scores of students heading back to the classrooms at the Cleveland Indians Primary in Pinewood Gardens on Monday following months of closure due to COVID-19. Here, Member of Parliament, the Honorable Miles LaRoda, on hand to welcome the students and pledge his support to the growth of the institution.
And I wanted to come to the school and see how things were going. I met with the principal, Ms. Roll, and the vice principal, Mr. Gibson, who were taking me on a tour of the school and giving me certain, background as to what's going on. But the kids are very excited to be back. I would have spoken to a few classes, and those children are excited to be back in school. I discussed with Ms. Roll, anything that the school may need that I may be able to assist, that I'm able and willing. She mentioned that, there's a computer lab with no computers, and I pledged to provide the computer lab with some computers within the next couple of weeks.
Mask wearing, proper sanitization, staggered lunch breaks, and a reduced student population, all mandatory requirements as over 100 students return to the institution. Yolanda Roll is the school's acting principal.
We have a few teachers' aides that are here, and everybody put their hands together, even the support staff. Everybody's working together as one, and so we got the children in quietly, adhering to all the protocols, and everybody's just working. Those who are on the compound, that includes the clerks, the janitresses, we're working together to ensure that the children are settled and that they are engaged.
Efforts underway to address teacher shortages and any gaps existing within the education system. This from Minister of State for Education, the Honorable Zane Lightbourne.
We saw a short in teachers when we came in and hired nearly 100 teachers. We expect that those teachers be in place by now, and some shortages still exist. This doesn't address all of the shortages that we have had. And so where those shortages exist, we're trying our best to find supply teachers and also to find teachers aides to assist teachers who have to take on extra classes. And administration is always there to chip in where needed.
As thousands of government schools resumed face-to-face learning in a hybrid model on Monday, there are several private institutions that remained closed. We spoke to an educator at Queen's College who was thrilled about the school's reopening come Monday. The institution has already put in place the necessary COVID-19 protocols.
Welcome the kids coming back into school. It has been a challenge trying to reach the students practically. So I do feel once they follow the protocol set out, it is safe for them to return back to school, and it's the right thing to do. UC has been prepared for the pandemic and has been dealing with it ever since. The protocols, there is a mandatory sanitization at the gate. Your temperature have to be checked at the gate. Every student, everybody who enters the campus have to have their temperature checked at the gate and also have to sanitize. And there are social distance markers all over the school. There are banners and posters sensitizing the students of the dangers of the virus and how to operate. They are reminded ever so often that they must social distance, they must be 6 feet apart.
Well, parents taking advantage of a helping hand as face-to-face instruction started this week also over there in Grand Bahama. Jay Philippe explains.
Well, IL Cares is stepping up to the plate to help students with purchasing uniforms for the start of the new semester on Grand Bahama. Marketing Executive, Davina Rutherford.
The IL Cares Foundation realizes how difficult these times are, and we just wanted to do a little something to help the parents to make it a little easier to prepare for back to school. Today we're giving away $50 gift vouchers to PATS uniforms so the parents would be able to go and buy uniforms. Getting books, pencils, those things, yes, they're necessary, but they're a little easier to attain. Uniforms are a little bit more expensive, and we figured this would go a longer way. It would be a little bit more impactful. So we decided this is how we're going to do our give back. And we know the parents are going to be appreciative since there was a last-minute announcement about school opening.
Parents and children stood in line on the outside of the Raven Mall waiting to enter the mall to receive supplies.
When they get the bags, they don't realize that there's a coupon in it. And once we tell them what's in the bag, they're so grateful.
Speaking of grateful, this parent expressing gratitude for the gesture. She says it came right in time as students prepare to return to the classrooms.
I know things are tough out there in Grand Bahama, so something like this is extremely important. And I know the parents appreciate it very much. Me as a parent and my nephew that received a voucher and some books, it's really nice.
The Kiwanis Club was also on hand distributing vouchers for the purchase of uniforms. Director Nishka Colley-Roll says the Kiwanis Club felt compelled to reach out and help the children of Grand Bahama.
Our motto in Kiwanis is serving the children of the world, and wherever we can partner to assist in our community, we are always there and available, you know, a non-profit service organization. So anytime we see, especially Davina, spearheading something, we always offer our assistance to her, and today is no different.
As we head to the break, we take a look back at the day in Bahamian history. On January 25th, 1953, Archdeacon Donald Knowles became the first Bahamian consecrated as a bishop. Also on this day, 2004, Reverend Emily Demerit became the first woman ordained as a minister in the Methodist Church.
John the Baptist, the kingdom suffered violence, and the violence took it by storm, calling the afflicted, calling all souls in despair. Welcome to the Voice of Deliverance telecast from the ministry that is reaching out all over the land, delivering souls and changing lives. The Voice of Deliverance. We're on the move for the Lord. The
public service announcement is brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training. The Ministry of Education strongly encourages the wearing of school uniforms. However, in this recent statement, Education Director Marcellus Taylor acknowledges that uniforms might be a challenge for some parents.
We also want parents to realize, too, that although it would be nice for students to have uniforms, it's not imperative. Because really, more importantly at this time, is for the students to come to school. So if you have the uniform, it's fine. But if you don't have the uniform, do not make that a deterrent for not sending your child.
Students without uniform must be appropriately attired and groomed with neutral colors only. No print and graphics are allowed. Chest and stomach areas must be covered. This public service announcement was brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training in conjunction with this channel.
Well, today is Mentor Day, and we're joined by Pastor Dave Burrows, who has been a mentor by many. Good morning, Pastor, and welcome to the Morning Edition.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
Well, it has to feel good to know that there is a day to appreciate all that persons like you do.
I think it's a great initiative. Mentors are so important in the lives, especially of young people, because you become what you see. And if you never see a positive role model, then you become a negative role model eventually. So mentors are strategic, and mentors are very important because we shape the lives of the future.
What stands out most about your time from being a mentor?
One of the most important things for me as far as being a mentor is seeing the fruits of my labor. It's just amazing to me how many young persons have been positively impacted by my work with them. I've seen young men come from streets and from gangs and become global leaders, become husbands and fathers and businessmen. I've seen other young men and women that I've worked with who have become professionals and really excelled, become leaders in the country, become, QCs and political leaders, business leaders. So that's the most rewarding part of it, seeing persons' lives turn around and seeing them being able to return the favor and become mentors to others coming up. So it's really a great thing to see the reward of your labor.
And you made an interesting point. You could either be a negative or a positive mentor.
Absolutely. And thank God that we have many persons stepping forward, because the Bahamas that we live in today, as we know, is very, very challenging. And negative role models are everywhere. The positive role models sometimes get hidden in the news. When something violent happens, we tend to concentrate on that. And sometimes we miss the very important work that's going on in the background. So I think it's so important to highlight the work of mentors and the positive achievements and results from mentoring, because mentoring is a key strategy in changing the current narrative that we have in the country.
Well, I've had two great mentors, my grandfather, Vernon Wilkinson, and my old boss here at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, Phil Smith. Who was your mentor?
My mentor, one of my main mentors was Dr. Miles Monroe. He was like a big brother to me. We met many, many years ago. Actually, he was, I think he had graduated from college and I was just entering the same college. And even though he was from the Bahamas, and I heard about him, I had never met him in my life. So the first time I met him was actually in Oklahoma. And he was strategic in shaping my life, because at that time, I had just come off of the streets, and my life, the trajectory of my life at that time was beginning to turn around. So he played a key role in guiding me. I remember one of the first things that he said to me is that he said, you need to go to daily communion. I was a young Christian at the time. I wasn't really, didn't come from the church culture, but he mentored me. And he also mentored me in many aspects of life, learning the ropes of life in terms of how to be a leader, you know, how to have character and so on. So he played a key role. And then as we developed the ministry at Bahamas Faith Ministries, he took me on the road with him. So many times we would go to arenas, you know, I mean, big arenas like the Shrine in Los Angeles, and he would have a speaking engagement, and I would just be in the crowd, and he'll call me up and he'd say, Dave, before I speak, I'm going to give you 10 minutes. And basically what that was doing was it was creating opportunities for me, because when people were exposed to me, then they call me, you know, based upon that exposure. So he was constantly providing opportunities. He encouraged me to write books. You know, I've written 17 books. Of course, he's written over 100. But it was because of his inspiration and mentorship that I ended up writing books. And he also encouraged me to excel in my arena. You know, he was a global leader when it came to ministry, consulting for countries and consulting for businesses and so on. He was a very diversified person. He was not just a pastor. And so I learned a lot, and I took a lot of those things and incorporated into what I did. So I eventually became, you know, a global leader, a consultant, a mentor to others. So his lead really helped me to forecast and to see a pathway for my success. So he played a key role in my success.
Thank you, Pastor Dave Brown, for joining us here on the Morning Edition. I saw Dr. Miles Monroe was a mentor, not only you, but to many here, not only in the Bahamas, but throughout the world. Thanks a lot for waking up with us in the Morning Edition.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, when will school sports resume?
Based tourism supplies almost $50 million in revenue for Androsians every year. These priceless resources will continue to provide renewable benefits for thousands of people for years to come, as long as we take long-term action to preserve what's rightfully ours. The natural environment has played a vital role in our culture and economy for generations. Let's take care of nature, and nature will take care of us.
Officer in the Ministry of Education, Evan Wisdom, now joining us on the Morning Edition. Well, Evan, face-to-face learning has resumed. How far off are we from starting school sports back? And everybody's eager.
Well, Fisher, I first of all wanted to congratulate our minister. I was just reading the paper this morning that reports are that we've had a very successful start in the school system and public school system, and indeed the school system throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And so that's a good sign. Secondly, we are contemplating again with the we have to get the congruence with the Minister of Education and the Department of Education, the Director of Education, with regards to any physical after-school activity in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And so right now we are listening to what our director and our minister says with regards to their communications with health officials. Their communication to us has been very, very succinctly that we must involve ourselves in programs that are non-contact sports. This is in no way will be trying to hamper the opportunities of student athletes, but athletics and sports in general, after-school activities must be practiced in a safe environment, and we have to, Charles, listen to the health professionals.
And even if there are no funds, athletes can benefit by just playing, so don't fall behind like their counterparts from around the world and don't get the scholarships and stuff like that.
Well, what we are trying to do is, where we've been very, very fortunate, and we would have just had a sports conclave this weekend, is that our federations are really supporting us, and we're going to do more with our federations, with those particular sporting entities where we're having, where we have contact. So what we're looking at this particular point is we're looking at starting with, we have the World High School Chess Championships. Those the teams for the children for those teams will be chosen, I believe, within 1 week. We will participate in that. The second thing that we're going to participate in for the first time in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, well, I would dare say in the public school system and the private school system together, is the contemplation of a swim championship, which is non-contact. The contemplation of a tennis championship, which is non-contact, and then the track and field. We're looking at those opportunities for students, athletes as we speak. We all know that this is a fluid situation. It's a day-by-day situation. We're in contact with UNESCO. We're in contact with the health agencies here, and it's a fluid. It's just a fluid situation, Charles. You know, and we have to find ways to mitigate and try as best as possible to ensure that our children, most of all, are safe.
Well, thanks a lot, Evan Wisdom. Hopefully you can come back soon with us with great news and say sports is ready to go again. But be sure to tune into the ZNS Network for news as it happens, TV and radio updates throughout the day. Then you can tune into the Northern Edition at 6:30 and the Bahamas Tonight at 7. And that's going to put a wrap on the Morning Edition. Charles, you did a great job by yourself. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure working with yourself this morning. Enjoy your day, everybody.
Looking for you, but here you are. There you've been, darling. I've been looking for you. I've been chilling out by the bar last night. This gal, she was looking nice. She blew my mind. Well, all the same, I started to order drinks and I drink everything. She make me feel like a king. Now I went down, I asked to take her home. I said I live alone.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.